What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wrestling Jackies Podcast. I'm Eric, Mr. Cincinnati Robinson. As always, I'm joined by the podcast dad, who apparently loves to stare at his belt before that theme music hits. Choops, how are you, buddy?
Man, you can see me during that. That's awesome.
I can, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good to know for moving forward.
Surprise!
I was actually looking at my lovely array of books. Thank you.
Bullshit. Anyway, welcome to the Wrestling Junkies Podcast, guys. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. As always, hit that QR code in the top left corner. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to get those numbers up. We've got a lot of fun content coming in the next couple of weeks. Now that we've gotten all the housekeeping stuff out of the way, you want to talk some wrestling?
As always, what do you want to talk about first?
Let's get into the Black and Gold brand, man. This is our go-home show. Before deadline, we had a couple of Iron Survivor Last Chance qualifiers, had a intergender tag match or mixed tag match, since there is a difference in WWE, and some heartbreaking news from Wes Lee. We got a lot to cover here. Where do you want us? I mean, what do you think?
Let's start with Wes Lee, man. That sucks. Yeah. And
surprising as hell, yeah.
So it's a back injury, and they said 8 to 12 months on commentary. Like, that is, yeah. That sucks. Like, because he has such a bright future, and I think he could have been, I think he was going to win the North American title and kind of bring that title back to NXT and have another great run with it. And that stinks. That's a tough blow for the NXT brand, especially because you would think that after Mania there's going to be some call ups, and maybe he would have been there to help kind of usher in the newer era for NXT. And yeah, that's a tough blow for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and I've really seen much more about the injury itself. I wonder if this is a similar Randy Orton type back issue where it's a fusion surgery that's needed. I mean, I'm not going to speculate on the severity of it or anything like that. But yeah, it's definitely a super tough blow, just because Wes Lee is a guy. I think he's exceeded all expectations you could have had for him in NXT, especially because he did have to reinvent himself as a single star after MSK disbanded through no circumstances or fault of his own, and took that assignment and ran with it. And I mean, he definitely does have an argument for greatest NXT North American champion in company history at this point, I would say, and the work rate there is just stellar. And yeah, I would agree with you. I probably would have picked him to get the W on Saturday to take that title off of Dominic and advance that story with his dad. Now that we're kind of ramping it up to WrestleMania season and getting started with that a little bit earlier, I think that would have been something that we would probably have been looking forward to. So it's definitely unfortunate. Rey Mysterio did appear via satellite just to announce that Dragon Lee would be replacing Wes Lee for this match, which is fine. I mean, we've seen them mix it up on the main roster, so it's a pretty easy plug-in. They're just kind of working with what they've got right now.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like, I don't want to say super excited because we've seen these guys go at it before. Like, I was excited for that Wes Lee match because it was different than anything Dom has done so far. We've seen Dragon Lee. We've seen these matches. We know it'll be good. Dragon Lee's very, very good. Dom, I think, works well when you have somebody that's pretty fast in there with him. So yeah. The match will be fine. I don't know if Dragon Lee will win because I think he's on the main roster. I don't know.
He is. Yes, he is officially SmackDown, okay. Yeah.
So I don't think he will win. I think, they may have to pivot again and keep it on Dom for a little bit longer and maybe extend the Judgment Day storyline a couple more weeks. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I don't foresee Dragon Lee taking that title off him yet.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think they necessarily need to hot shot in light of this change that they've got to make. Like I said, it's easy to continue running with the Judgment Day, hottest story in the company right now. If you can't find a couple more weeks of things to do with them, then what the hell are you doing more to be? So yeah, I think and I know we haven't really branded this as an official preview show of this, but this was the go home, so I got no problem giving my predictions. For these matches this weekend, for the ones we can at least remember anyway. I think Dominic retains here, keeps his North American Championship, and just keeps on moving on.
Yeah, and an interesting thing too is, if you go back on Raw and Finn wasn't there, Rhea wasn't there. We got very minimal Damian Priest. We got JD and Dominic. So like
a lot of our truth.
Yeah. So like, and I like that. It kind of brings a little bit of levity to like the goth kids hanging out in the back of the bus. So it'll be fascinating to see like how much emphasis is put on the Judgment Day. Like they had a very good Raw without the Judgment Day. So like they can continue to do that and not force the Judgment Day down our throats, kind of like they did with the Bloodline for a while. And I'll be interested to see, like, do we get this break soon? Like, do you think this break happens before Mania, or do you think this extends past Mania?
I'm going to say past Mania. I don't think that there's any reason to I don't think there's any reason to rush this saga that the Bloodline was. And there were a lot of positives that came from that story and a lot of negatives, especially the overexposure of this unit towards the end. Yes, we're seeing some of that with Judgment Day, but that's something that can easily be corrected going into 2024. We still have the wild card of, Rhea's still got a championship that she's holding on to. We don't know if she's going to lose that to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Senior Money in the Bank is still lurking, and we're kind of seeing that world title picture has gotten even more interesting now that CM Punk has returned. The potential of LA Knight switching brands. There's still a lot of things that are up in the air. Randy Orton coming back. Like, I think there's still a lot of people these guys can mix it up with and get some great stories out of. This is something I don't mind seeing past WrestleMania if it's done right. And they don't necessarily need all the gold to do it.
So I saw a Reddit thread, and I want to kind of get your thoughts on it about the Money in the Bank.
Okay.
It said that what if when they gave Damian Priest that new Money in the Bank, that the contract wasn't in it and it was still in the old Money in the Bank, and when he goes to cash in, it's not going to be valid and Finn can cash in with it, which there's a huge plot hole in that because they've never opened the Money in the Bank when you cash in.
Yeah.
So that would kind of be, that issue. And we've, I don't know, that would be an interesting story.
But I would say to that point, we have seen transfers of the contract. We have seen it. When Mr. Kennedy was, they thought he was going to be out for a while. Turned out he wasn't. Kennedy. And Edge takes it over and just cashes in. We've seen, I think it was Damien Mizdow that lost it, or somebody. I feel like somebody else other than
Otis lost it.
Yes, there it is. Yeah. So, I think that that's something that's easily fixable. And besides, we are injecting the L word into wrestling again, which is our fault. But
that could be a fun,
it could be a fun story. Yeah,
and that could be a way to turn Damian face and get him out of Judgment Day, like for good, and have the crowd be a little bit more sympathetic for him.
Did you realize? Also, I don't know if you knew this, but 5 years ago today was his debut with NXT as Punishment Martinez and lost to Matt Riddle. And I think that everybody thought at that point he was doomed, and it turns out your Money in the Bank, part of one of the largest stories in the company right now. So hats off to him.
Yes, and the guy he lost to is no longer in the company. If you would have told me that, I might have told you you were crazy.
Yeah, hey, Randy had high praise for him on Impulsive and helping him, really helped him to get through that last couple of months there with the back. So, hat off to Matt Riddle, and he's got some indie dates that are being announced, and he looked like he's getting back work in 2024. So, yeah, he does.
Got his haircut and all that good stuff. I want to touch on something else Randy said. In that Impulsive interview that I saw, and I know we'll get back to NXT here in a second, but Randy said that Triple H is like valuing family time, with these superstars, and maybe that's why everybody's not on TV every week. What do you think that is attractive to people moving forward? And do you think like we're going to see this change a lot over time? Like, is this kind of that first step of, hey, you're not going to get to see everybody every week because I want people to be with their families and still have that interaction? Like, do you think that's going to be something we see moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, in that context, I would say yes to a degree. I mean, because yes, he still is lingering somewhere in the TKO,
Maybe
somewhere doing his thing, like, but according to seeing the positive, whether that it leads to any sort of seismic change in how characters are presented and what they do to try to tease out or kind of lengthen the absences between appearances remains to be seen. I think I think Triple H wanting this it's more of the man almost died due to a heart issue and had a lot of that time away to reconnect with his family and remember, hey, this is what it's like to not be on the road all the time. Something else we forget is nobody has a work ethic like Vince McMahon's. He expects that out of everybody, but not very many people are wired in that way to do that. So I do think that there is some positive there. How they set up stories or presentation remains to be seen. Just because there's so many faces on the milk carton that we would like to see on a weekly basis that could be there on a weekly that just aren't. So I don't necessarily want to read into it in that respect just yet, but I do think it's a positive that people are getting these opportunities. Another thing that I think is worth mentioning is I think that it was TKO's chief operating officer that said they will probably be phasing out a few more house shows in 2024 and scaling that back going forward as well. So it does seem like there's a plan in place to kind of reduce that travel schedule between appearances, especially when, Raw Monday, NXT Tuesday, SmackDown Friday, and then there's live events over the weekend, and then rinse and repeat. So seeing some of that scale back, I think it'll certainly be a positive for everybody's quality of life for sure. But I think it's too early to say whether it's anything related to how they will present characters on TV.
Yeah, he also said during that public speaking event, not Randy, the spokesperson, that production budget costs seem to be on the way as well. So that'll be fascinating to see.
Well, the pyro ball is just the first to go.
We'll see. Might be some camera stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but they already use AR fireworks on certain buildings. I mean, because they won't necessarily do a whole lot of pyro over in Saudi Arabia. But like,
there's a reason for that. I mean, yeah, I am convinced that Vince has a lot less power in this company and that Triple H is making a majority of the on-screen bigger decisions now with your favorite wrestler coming back and Phil. I think that would have happened if Vince was still in charge of that. So
probably not.
That convinces me more and more that, okay, this might be Triple H's baby now.
Hopefully it stays that way. Let's get back to NXT.
Let's do it.
All right, Iron Survivor, Last Chance Qualifier, Fatal 4-Way. We had Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, Thea Hale, and Fallon Henley. Fallon Henley getting the shock W here, joining Josh Briggs in the Iron Survivor Challenge here. We saw the advancement of the story between Roxanne Perez and Kiana James. They're clearly out to beat the hell out of each other. What's up?
Did you see the announcement on that?
Steel cage match, yeah.
Did you see who did it?
Ava, yes. Yes,
why?
We'll come back to that. I don't know yet. We can talk about that. But let's
talk about it now because I am confused and I don't understand why she did it.
I don't either. I don't either. So for anybody that did not watch NXT last night, Ava inserted herself into a brawl between Kiana James, Roxanne Perez in the trainer's room. She basically said, you guys want this match? I'll go talk to Shawn Michaels and get it done. I think she did something else later on in the night where there was additional conversation where they show her actually leaving the office. No idea what's going on. It has not necessarily been openly referenced on TV. But I'm going to look at this as a positive because they're finding something for her to do after the end of Schism, which just kind of flamed out. And I mean, it's a positive just because this does give her a chance to speak a little bit more and get a little bit more character work in.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where this goes because we didn't see her wrestle much, so I don't know if she's just not ready to do that, but they want to get her on screen just to keep learning. Yeah. So, if she's like an assistant to Shawn Michaels, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to get her a little bit more exposure. But that one kind of caught me off guard. Like, what? Why are you telling me this? But hey, I'm cool with it. That's we will see how it goes. Yeah, Fallon Henley was that was a surprise. Like this whole women's match is a little bit of a surprise with the participants.
I agree. For this type of match, knowing that they're on the line, here's a chance for people, especially that may not have been successful in the breakout tournament. Here's one more chance to have a great run at the end of the year.
I mean, but Tiffany's got to be the favorite, right?
I wouldn't say that. She's not my pick.
Okay, she's my pick. Who are you picking?
Okay, Blair Davenport.
Okay,
she's ready.
I agree.
And I think the only other thing that people will knock Blair Davenport for is that her promo work isn't the best, and that was kind of on display in that Challenger Summit that they did later on in the night. But I mean, in-ring skill, she's top notch. She's one of the best women on NXT's roster, and is long overdue for an NXT championship run now that she's here in the States full time.
I don't think she'll beat Lyra. I don't know. I don't know about all that.
Okay.
Not this soon.
I'll play the long game.
I wouldn't say this soon.
But that doesn't mean she has to cash in a championship match right away.
Yeah, and Lyra's kind of the same way. Like, she's not the best on the mic, but the in-ring work is phenomenal. So that could be – I'd be a little hesitant on the promo battles between those two. I would say I say Tiffany just because I think Lyra gets that big win over Tiffany and kind of fully establishes herself as the women's champion. Like, she beat Becky to do it, and that's good. And then went to a feud with Xia Li, which I liked, but let's be honest, Xia Li isn't at the tip top level, and we haven't seen her since. So that'll be like, I think her beating Tiffany and run back that match that they had originally when Tiffany won the title. Like that story tells itself. Yeah. So that's why Tiffany would be my pick. You also have Lola Vice kind of lurking in the background with that title shot. So there's some freshness in this women's title division, and I really, really like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a true use of this match just because I feel like last year was more about established names kind of getting their shot at this, probably because it was a new concept and just kind of wanting to see how it goes. I personally enjoyed the match itself more than I did the build to it last year. It just turned out to be entertaining as hell. And now that I'm invested, know that I'm going to like the match. I do like this mix of participants in here, just because people are getting fresh opportunities. So I'm definitely here for it. Another match that again kind of came out of this Fatal 4-Way: Roxanne Perez and Kiana James, steel cage match at Deadline. They've been beating the hell out of each other for weeks. This is very clearly their blow off, at least in my mind. Roxanne Perez for the win.
Yeah, I'll agree. And a good secondary women's feud. See how people are able to do that. A good feud and get them on the mat, get them on the card, and a steel cage match for the women is always fun. So I don't know if we've had one in that. Yeah, we have. We've had one in NXT for the women.
Yes.
But
yeah,
it'll probably be better than the Gigi JC Jane match.
Ugh. Anyway, mixed tag match, Metaphor Alpha Academy. And I mean, it's fine. I'm just going to gloss over it. That was a terrible match. All right. I'm not going to talk about it. So we can talk about what was a fun match. This mixed tag match. We had Abel on Oro Mensah, Noah, and Lash Legend. Dude, Maxine Dupree has improved so much as of late. Like it's been impressive, and hats off to Lash Legend as well. I mean, we'll get to that spot in a second, but she also has put in the work. Like it's and I've said this about both of them before. you're not going to be in groups like these on TV and then not get your reps in behind the scenes. Like that, you're like, I mean, Gable is a leader, Dar is a leader. They know that this faction, like these are their respective groups. They've got to make sure everybody looks as great as they do, and they've been delivering. Lash Legend body slammed Otis, dude.
Yeah, that was a crazy spot. It was I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't know what they were setting up for, and then all of a sudden it happened, and I'm like, whoa! And it wasn't even like a, trying to think of like a weak body slam. It wasn't like a bounce off the rope kind of right into it. Like she stood up straight, stood there for a second, and then did it, and it was like, oh, okay, that caught my attention, and that's going to catch the attention of everybody in the higher ups and the ones making the decisions. So good for her. She probably made a big impression on officials in the back, and that's going to go a long way for her.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Noam Dar taps out to Chad Gable. In my mind, I feel like this sets up one more shot for Gable at the Heritage Cup.
Yeah, I mean, the match will be good. The match will be good. Don't get me wrong. I don't want, if Chad does win, it kind of feels like a consolation prize to the Intercontinental title. And I think they just had so much momentum with Gable that they haven't really realized quite yet. And I guess this is a way to keep him on TV, keep him fresh in everybody's mind. So I can't be too mad at it.
Yeah, and you have to admit the personalities of Alpha Academy, the fun that they're having as a babyface group that is also very no nonsense in the ring, which was the stark opposite of how they even started this, and kind of like that New Day evolution where they're just now getting goofy. But then once that bell rings, they're right into it, because simply constructed groups with very different personalities that just mesh so perfectly.
Yep. No, I took the words out of my mouth. I can't disagree with anything you said. Great point, Mr. Cincinnati.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what was not a great point of NXT last night?
What was
Nathan Fraser and Axiom. Go to a no contest, nothing exciting. The brawl spilled out from the Women's Iron Survivor match. This match was reset for the pre-show this Saturday for Deadline. I really don't have a dog in this fight. Like, it is what it is. I like both of these guys. Don't get me wrong. It'll be a fun, fast-paced opener, which is cool. I don't know. If I got to pick one, I'll go Nathan Fraser. But babyface versus babyface, not my cup of tea.
I can't get into Nathan Fraser's character. It's
fine.
It's too hokey for me. I'm almost like, put him in Imperium, serious him up a little bit.
Ooh.
I think that could be a lot of fun. I mean, he could walk out there with the man bun and be, all high and tight. Like, that would be, I don't know, just throwing ideas out.
I like when you do that. That's the point of the show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Men's Iron Survivor qualifying match. Carmelo Hayes, Tyler Bate, Eddie Thorpe, Joe Coffey. Tyler Bate getting the win, which I believe I said was going to happen.
You didn't say it on here, so it doesn't count.
Who made that ruling?
All right, go back and look at the tape. When did you ever say it? Oh, we were offline.
You heard me say it. How often do we reference stuff that we talk about outside of the four walls of this?
Nope. You don't get this one, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, I do. Anyway,
this is good for Tyler Bate. He needs to be in this match.
Yeah, I mean, we made the point, and I made this point yesterday. He's been in NXT for his entire adult life. Like, not have the grizzled veteran. Now, let's talk about who actually wins this. So here's the field for the Men's Iron Survivor match. Briggs, Braun Baker, and Tyler Bate rounding out the field. Who you got?
I'm going to go Dijak.
Okay.
I think that him and Ilya could just put on a ridiculous match. We've seen them do it before,
That last man standing match lives rent free in my head.
I don't think Trick Williams will do it quite yet. I think we still got some time on that. Braun doesn't need to do it. Nope. The other two, I could see maybe a Tyler Bate, because I think Ilya and Bate would also just tear the house down. God, now I want to see Tyler Bate and Ilya.
But I'd like to point this out. There will still be an empty space in the United States Championship tournament that will be an NXT superstar. That much has been confirmed. An indicator of who that might be. I mean, any one of these guys could fit into that spot just fine. Mm. You've said, we both said Braun Breaker is beyond ready to go to the main roster. It could be an interesting way to bring him in, or Tyler Bate. Josh Briggs is a fine wrestler. He's not at star level, ready to go main roster, ready for the top of the NXT card just yet. But I think this is a cool opportunity for him and Fallon Henley. They're a fun group, and I like them all.
Oh, there's a way to get Braun on a Mania card, if you want me to throw the idea out there.
Tread lightly.
Pair him with John Cena.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I didn't know
where you were kidding me
there. I didn't know where you're going to go. We
saw the interaction and Cena putting over Braun Breaker. Are you kidding me? Main event star. Boom! You just made another guy.
Let's write our wish list to Papa H.
That's fine. He knows my number.
There you go. What? You've been holding on this entire time, the whole time?
No. Who do you have winning?
I think I still have. Oh God. I think NXT Championship program with some build between these two and get a little NXT UK back in the mix. I would love to see that.
Can you repeat it? You kind of broke up there a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. So Tyler Bate, just because I want to see a rekindling of that NXT UK energy here in the States. That's so that's what I would say. So elsewhere on this card, or at least on NXT, the final kind of point here, Lexis King has put out a video of sorts, basically, gassing up Melo and kind of talking about how they have some kind of loose friendship or whatever. Like, it was just a very odd kind of promo. And like I said before we were on the show, I'm not loving Lexis King so far. I'm not. And that could change. That could change. But right now, stop it. Like, can I finish? Can I finish?
I'm just nodding my head.
God, that is going to be really, really annoying when you have.
I'm listening. I'm all ears. I am all ears because I think,
Heather, if you're watching, it's being so mean to me.
And if we rewinded a little bit, I said I am not a fan of this presentation of Lexis King.
I know, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm saying that I have the same opinion right now. I am not like there's something about the promos that still kind of feel forced.
This whole thing with Lexis King and him shoehorned into this feud feels way too forced. I don't like it. I don't get it. I don't understand why he's in it. It doesn't make any sense. If they're doing this to extend the program,
he did it for Melo.
Do it with whatever.
I'm just saying, like, there's still a lot of intrigue here that hasn't been settled just yet.
No, there's not.
And that's why Melo's like, okay, I want to match with him so bad. Pick somebody to be involved in this feud, be the guy that I would pick, not based on what I've seen now, but whether we like it or not, he seems to be a lot of just random NXT anonymous footage that just keeps leaking of everybody kind of being in differing orbits in the same place leading up to Trick getting attacked. So there's still some intrigue. It's just I didn't care for the promo that he gave last night. I just didn't. It came off forced to me. Like that's just what I felt. We'll see how this match goes with him and Melo at Deadline. I think this will be a much better match than we saw at Halloween Havoc. I think that it has been smart to not have him wrestle on TV just yet, saving it for a big PLE debut and then kind of see where it goes from there. I think that match will be better than his debut, which was fine. But I kind of need to get to like, how did he get involved in this? How we got to hurry up and get to the end of this story here.
Yeah. Not too excited for this match. I don't like it's his second match. He's going against Melo. Like this is not the feud I would have started with Alexis King. I would have established him a little bit more before you put him in one of your big main event feature feuds. Like it doesn't.
Fair.
I'm not a huge fan of what's going on. I think it would have been better if they would have just revealed that Melo attacked Trick, and we kind of had Melo avoiding Trick until whatever happens whenever the match happens. Like I think they pulled the trigger on the whole attack on Trick too soon, and I think they could have extended that out a little bit more, kind of plant some more seeds, done a little bit, drop a little bit more clues into Melo getting jealous and eventually get to this and Stand and Deliver. I still think the match will happen at Stand and Deliver.
Sure.
But I think they might have rushed this a little bit, and now you have the issue of, we need to extend it, and let's do it with Alexis King, who has, the promo cutting skills right now of my cat. So I don't love it.
Fair. Now let's get into our potential main event match of Deadline. Ilya Dragunov, Baron Corbin for the NXT Championship. They had their final face-off last night. A lot of pot shots taken. Corbin basically relishing the lifestyle of making millions and getting to enjoy the perks of the hard work that he's put into WWE over the years. Ilya basically sacrificing everything to chase this dream. Corbin trying to get into his head and playing at that mentally. And then at the end, we see Ilya embrace Baron Corbin and say the only one that can kill a dragon is the dragon. And the look, Corbin went white as a sheet. Mad Dragon is going to tear Corbin up. I don't think that anybody sees Baron Corbin winning this match at Deadline. I certainly don't. But this could be a really fun match, I think.
Ilya is going to do something insane, and it's going to be a good match. Ilya is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. I don't think he gets enough credit because he's in NXT, and they look at that as developmental. I think a lot of people do. Like, you need to pay attention to what Ilya is doing. He has had a phenomenal year. He's really, really good. And for whatever reason, and this will probably be booked in my 2K universe for shits and gigs, but for whatever reason, I want to see Ilya Dragunov and Swerve, those two characters together. Like, I think that would be I think the promos back and forth and the mind games between the two would just be and the match,
last man standing, last man standing.
Like, those two personalities would be a lot of fun together.
Ooh, again, I really like that. That's cool. Yeah,
Ilya needs to be people need to pay attention to him. He's doing a lot of great work. And again, I think people look at NXT as maybe that fourth brand behind SmackDown, Raw, AEW, and then NXT. Not in that order, but NXT is fourth.
No.
And I think people need to pay attention to what he wasn't in the top 10 of the PWI or anything like that.
He was not, no.
Pay attention to what he's doing. He is very good, and when he gets to the main roster, dude, he's going to take that main roster by storm.
Yeah, no, it's only a matter of time, and I think we've all been gassing up 2024 to be just a massive year in pro wrestling, and he's one of those reasons why it could just be all out awesome. Any final thoughts on NXT?
No, Deadline it'll probably be a solid show. It's not like the most exciting build I think we've had. I think it'll be fine. It's just I'm not Baron Corbin's in the world title match, so it's not that exciting for me.
It's fine.
But
I would have been excited about that
it should be
8 years ago.
I probably would not have been excited about it 8 years ago since he's been in the company for like 12.
I really I like the Lone Wolf character is what I'm saying. Is I think that could have been a fun NXT Championship run for him then. So, I don't know. That's just
me. Back in the day when he was feuding with Bull Dempsey, yeah. God, I love Bull Dempsey.
Yeah.
I love Bull Dempsey.
All right, real quick before we wrap up, let's move on to Dynamite. Quick little preview. The Continental Classic continues. Here are the matches we've got. Swerve Strickland versus Mark Briscoe, Jon Moxley and Roosh, Jay White and Jay Lethal. So, I mean, I missed the first week and a half of the Continental Classic, but I mean, it's created some fun matchups. I'll say that. So, I don't think that tonight will be any different. These are a lot of different styles and guys we probably wouldn't normally see mix it up. So, should be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, all the matches have been good. Like, it's not anything. I don't know. Like, I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, the tournament fatigue is getting to me a little bit, and like I would like a reason why all these guys are feuding rather than, hey, we're just doing a tournament. So like that's not saying all the matches haven't been good because they have been really good. Like I went back and watched Danielson Eddie Kingston. Like that match was fantastic.
Yeah,
it really was. And now now but give me a feud out of that. Like I want to see those guys go at it again and again and again, and I'm probably not going to get to see that for a little while. Swerve and Jay White was really good last week. I like, and this is a kind of a Jay White going into a little bit of madness because he can't win the big one kind of thing. And that's like, there's potential for a lot of stories to come out of this. That's why I'm hopeful for the tournament. But like, I'm just not like, this is Tony's G1 and I'm not like, it's not like I watched the G1 ever. Like I've watched a couple matches here and there from the G1, but it's not like I'm tuning in at like the entire time for it. Like I think that's more of a Japan style tournament where they have the G1, they have the Super J Cup, they have the tag team leagues, all that good stuff, and I'm just not, I think, conditioned for all that quite yet.
Sure, no, that's totally fair, and like I said, I don't think it makes sense to get rid of your Ring of Honor World Championship or roll it all into this new belt. But I don't know. I'm not writing the checks, so c'est la vie. Elsewhere, Timeless Tony Storm defends against Sky Blue. Thank you very much. Did you hear that there is going to be a special guest announcer for Tony going in tonight?
I did not.
Yeah, so I forget the guy's name, and I'll have to pull it up on Twitter, but this guy worked or is like a higher up at Turner Classic Movies, so there's a lot of that tie into the Timeless. But his uncle or great uncle wrote the movie All About Eve, which is the underlying basis for this Tony Storm Mariah May feud that is brewing in the background. So if there's one thing that Tony Khan knows how to do, it's attention to those little details and trying to find ways to bring in outside to make it more mainstream and have a lot of fun with it. So especially given the relationship with WBD, a lot of thought going into this character. If you've not seen it, Cultaholic did an awesome 15-minute video about the outstanding transformation of Tony Storm throughout 2023. It is worth the watch because this is the best character in wrestling right now.
Ooh. That's a bold statement, Mr. Cincinnati.
Okay.
Best character in wrestling right now?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Man. Okay. All right.
That's
Gunther would like a word.
Okay.
The Ring General.
Right here.
Okay. All right.
I would like Gunther chopping.
Here's the thing. You can take Gunther's finisher. I'll take Tony's. No, that's and I just did this little thing, right? It's the layers on layers on layers. Yeah. Like he's putting a lot of attention to detail, and that's good. Like put attention to detail. You've got something white hot, and do it. My only issue with this match is, again, I'm going to use that capital L word, logic. How is Sky Blue getting a title shot after she just got pinned for this, like in a TBS title match? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. It's above my pay grade.
Like the story with Tony is very good, and we're obviously going to get to the Mariah May story, but give me something in between. Like, don't give me just a bunch of filler. Give me something I can sink my teeth into in between, and then let's get to that feud. That's my only gripe. Please don't come attack me. I will still watch because, yes, Timeless Tony Storm is a fantastic character. Probably the best in AEW right now. I won't say the best in wrestling quite yet, but the best in AEW going.
Okay. Fair enough. And also, finally, a match that has... I don't know if this match actually takes place.
Oh, this match is going to take place.
I mean, I just, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm, like, waiting for there to be some sort of schmoz or no contest that just lets them get back to World's End. I don't know. I mean, they are in Montreal, and they're trying their damnedest to fill that arena, and doesn't sound like it's going super well from what I've read online, but I don't know. I don't know. It'll be great to see these guys go one-on-one. It's been about 20 years since they last did this, and they are infinitely better now than they were back then when WWE first tried to split them up to see what they had.
Yeah, it'll. I could see like a Smaj finish. I could see something like that. I could see him, Christian pulling all the heat and not doing it. But I don't think you advertise it if it's not going to happen, right? Like Tony's pretty good about that. About if I'm going to advertise something, it's going to happen. He's not going to pull the rug out, that kind of thing. Do you think this main event?
I would. I mean, if I'm booking it, yeah, this would be my main event.
Because we do have MJF Samoa Joe versus the Devil Henchman.
Shit, that's right. Yeah.
It's a packed episode.
I think I'm still gonna say yes. I mean, this is still, there's a lot of history in this match. I mean, this is a one-on-one match between one of the greatest tag teams of, and we've seen a lot of tag teams that go singles feud routes and go the blood feud, but this is just personal. This is intensely personal, and this sets up, I think anyway, a larger story at World's End. So this is my pick to main event, or at least close the show, I'll say.
Yeah, and that's fine with me. It's just I think if your main event storyline is that, maybe you want to close with that. Maybe you open with that. I don't know. We'll see if maybe this Devil storyline can take a turn for the better. I do not have high hopes. I think they have overshot what they were trying to do. Maybe we'll get the reveal sooner rather than later. Maybe they'll pivot. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know.
Whoever's under that mask is out for retribution. That's for sure.
God, if it's Mustafa Ali, I mean, that's disappointing.
Any final thoughts on this packed 78th episode of the Wrestling Junkies podcast?
What is the Devil Henchman's name? Is it Henchman 1, Henchman 2?
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe?
Or is it something stupid like T-Bar and Slipshot? What was his name? Slapshot. They are in Canada.
Like Temptress. Yeah. Slapjack.
Slapjack. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. No, it's okay. They tried. God, bless their hearts. They tried. Anyway.
Not very well.
Let's take it home.
Yeah, let's go home.
It's all right. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for enjoying this episode of the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Again, hit that QR code up there, like, share, subscribe, help us to get those numbers up. We've got amazing interviews. We've got great content. We have a game show. We have a guy that loves tacos that guest stars on our show every once in a while. We got a douchebag of a game show host. What? I'm not doing this with you today. Not.
I think his Wi-Fi connection's pretty bad, so I don't know if we'll get him tonight, but I'll make a phone call.
Okay. Make the call. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the Wrestling Junkies podcast, and we will be talking to you guys soon.